Joining us this week are these gentlemen right here, managing editor of Newsbusters, Curtis Houck. Also with us, the founder of Life Flip Media, Republican strategist, Eric Mitchell. Curtis, there on the right of your screen. Let's start off with you first. Probably the most insane thing I heard all week, which is a feat in and of itself, because just when you think the left can't get crazier, it does. Bill Maher talking about abortion. You'll notice that even the panelists are kind of taken aback at his comment. Let's take a listen.
I scold the left on when they say, oh, you know what? They just hate women, people who aren't pro-life, pro-choice. They don't hate women. They just made that up. They think it's murder. And it kind of is. I'm just okay with that. I am. I mean, there's 8 billion people in the world. I'm sorry, we won't miss you. That's my position on it. What?
That's quite harsh, Bill.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
All right, Curtis, what do you think?
Well, Lydia, it's someone saying the quiet part out loud for once about what the left actually thinks about children in the womb. That's what Iceland thinks about babies with Down syndrome. You know, CBS infamously had a documentary a few years ago saying, isn't it great that Iceland doesn't have kids with Down syndrome and other disabilities anymore? Well, why is that? This is the sort of thing that I saw 10 years ago when I was a college student. You'd have these like white liberal women and other like beta male bros who would hit on them. They'd all say, you know, well, there's too many people in the world and we need to control, you know, the population. You know, this is like The Price is Right when telling people to help control the pet population, except it's human beings. So I mean, I got to give him more credit for at least being honest, you know, and that's why I think everyone, his audience and the other panelists were uncomfortable because he said the truth and what Democrats actually think. You know, I think if more Democrats were like Bill Maher about abortion, we would perhaps the pro-life cause would be doing a little bit better than they are.
Yeah, I mean, Eric, and the next up, you know, in case you didn't hear, Trump's criminal trial kicked off and opening arguments are tomorrow. And one of the most boring bits in any trial, of course, is jury selection. But the media, of course, jumped all over the fact that Trump rested his eyes for a bit. Let's take a look.
I was very surprised. Trump appears to be sleeping. His head keeps dropping down and his mouth goes slack. Tell us about that.
Well, Jake, he appeared to be asleep.
What part of head down, eyes closed, drool coming out of his mouth do you not get over here? He's snoring. He's doing the honk shoe. He's doing the me, 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 me.
If Biden is Sleepy Joe, I guess that makes you Dozo the Clown, huh?
Unbelievable, yet they don't cover Joe Biden talking about, you know, his uncle was eaten by cannibals, him tripping and falling, all of these things. Yet Trump rests his eyes for a little bit. Look at Biden here. He was asleep how many times? Eric, what do you think about it?
I think Biden's asleep all the time. I mean, they never cover anything that he does. I mean, you mentioned Uncle Benny, who, you know, he's cannibals and not cannibals. I mean, this is so funny that that's what they focus on, is not how most of the jurors are like, oh, oops, I might not be able to be fair and I'm, you know, give this man a fair trial. Oh, no, shocking in a blue state, in a blue city, that he can't get a fair trial on this sham trial. It's just, this is what they're making a big deal. He closed his eyes for a minute. Has anyone ever been in a courtroom and gone through jury duty? It's boring. It's not like he needs to be involved in it. I mean, having him there is just a waste of time and just proving a point. So it's just typical of them. They just pay attention to what they want you to pay attention to. And the evil man who sends mean tweets out is, once again, how dare he rest his eyes.
This is, you know, sometimes in spite of themselves, the good folks at CNN have to report the truth. Let's take a listen to senior data reporter with some polling numbers. You could practically knock them over with a feather. Let's take a look.
Viewed favorably across Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. Look at the Joe Biden trend line where he is now. Joe Biden is far less liked than he was 4 years ago. Just 43% of voters now view Joe Biden favorably in these states. And Donald Trump, despite everything that has happened, is actually slightly more liked. 47% favorable rating. So this isn't just the lesser of two evils that's going on. The fact is that Donald Trump is, in fact, better liked than he was 4 years ago and is better liked than Joe Biden is right now in these battleground states. It's pretty gosh darn clear.
I want to get your quick reactions from both of you because I got to get to this next piece of video, one of my favorite stories of the day. What did you think about CNN actually reporting the truth for once?
Oh, I love it. Harry Enton, the master of odds, the wizard of odds. He's such a funny guy on CNN because he does this from time to time where he points out the truth. And I think the thing that President Trump has going for him is the fact that we see this with former presidents all the time. They leave with low approval ratings, and then over time people realize, well, such and such president, he wasn't actually that bad. Whereas before, we didn't really see that with other presidents because they would serve 2 terms. With Donald Trump, he only served 1 term, so now he can serve a second. People are saying, wait a second, I actually really like how things were going because right now things suck.
Real quick before I let you guys go, this isn't so much as media madness as it is just plain madness, but it reminded me kind of Joe Biden's presidency. Surveillance footage showing a woman bringing her dead uncle to the bank to sign a loan. What did you guys think about this? I mean, the guy is dead. This happened in Brazil. Eric, is it reminiscent of a Weekend at Bernie's that kind of maybe hits a little too close to home?
It feels like what could be a foreshadowing of an election coming up. Like, let's bring out the dead. I don't know. It's just horrible to see this. And I mean, and not shocking. I mean, Biden probably let him into the country. I mean, as far as I know, they'll just let him in, be like, come across. You're good.
Oh, my goodness. All right. We got to leave it right there, guys. Thank you so much. We could continue going on and on with some media madness. More Sunday.